everyone? It's your boy, CJ Goodfellow. We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is, man. We talking about everything that went on this weekend from the ESPN Revilla winning the world title at 36 years old, all the way up to, Rios getting knocked out by Garcia last night. Everything in between, Eubanks, Groves, everything. The Jermell Charlo interview. We're going to talk about Shawn Porter, like everything that went on, man. And at the end, we do a Q&A. So if you got questions, I'm going to give you answers. And if you got answers, I got questions. But yeah, I want to start off by saying, I'll get to that at the end of the video, about Jermell Charlo. I have an inkling or a little foresight on to potentially who he could be fighting at 154 pounds of that. But we started off yesterday with Groves and Eubanks, and it was an ugly fight. It didn't live up to the bill. I thought it was the best fight in the first quarter this year of boxing. That's January, February, and March. 3 months equal a quarter when you're going by the calendar year. But Groves and Eubanks didn't live up to the expectations, and it wasn't. What's going on? What's going on, Mr. Golson? It wasn't the fact. It wasn't Groves' fault, and I will say that. I might have been too hard on George Groves yesterday, and it wasn't his fault that the fight didn't go like I thought it would be. I thought Eubanks Jr. had matured. I thought the game had started to slow down. He would pick his shots better, but he clearly let that sparring and George Groves take him back years, in his mind and physically. He thought he can do what he did to him in sparring. Sparring is sparring. You cannot say because you dominate somebody in sparring, and there are exceptions to the rule, but dominate somebody in sparring and say you're going to dominate in a real fight. Now, hopefully the fans can understand that now, because we've seen what happened with Eubanks and Groves. And Groves admitted that, Eubanks may have gotten the best of him in sparring, but what happened when they got in the ring for real? Eubanks, he got mollywopped. And not only he got mollywopped, he was hitting, like Prince Nassim really went on him. He was hitting Groves with big shots, and it didn't shake him. He's not a huge puncher, but he's a puncher by accumulation. He understands that, especially moving up to super middleweight division. But, he was just swinging and missing, and wow, he made that fight dirty. And the best thing that George Groves could have did last night was hold. That was the best thing Groves could did, in my opinion, was hold when he got on the inside. That dude is just wild. There's no method to his madness. There's no craftsmanship behind his offense. And, hey, what can you say? He made that fight horrible. It definitely wasn't on George Groves last night. Groves can box. He did what he can do with him. But Eubanks, it don't matter if he moved on to middleweight. He caught out Caleb Truex, from what I understand. It don't matter. Prince Nassim said he should retire. I don't know. Maybe he should work with Floyd Sr. full time. He has the athletic gifts, and he just needs to hone his skills and work on his jab and work on the fundamentals of his feet and everything, his technique. And Groves, he's in question right now. They don't know what's going on with his shoulder, and they may hold off the World Box Super Series tournament for Groves until he get healthy. I think that'll be the right thing to do. Callum Smith and Yerman Berman is fighting this week, and that's no given. And I'm kind of feeling confident if Callum Smith beats Yerman Berman that he's going to win the tournament. I picked Callum Smith to win the tournament from the beginning. But it wasn't a fight that lived up to expectations. It wasn't Groves' fault. It was obviously Eubanks' fault. Moving on. Friday we had Ray Beltran. I'll get to that later. But now we get to Brandon Rios and, not Brandon Rios, but Devin, Caleb Plant and Porky Medina. That was a good fight. I got to get to that real quick. Porky Medina, obviously was hurt, but Caleb Plant was, boxing and looking good, and he needed this hard 12 rounds versus a strong veteran like Porky Medina who knocked out a lot of people lights. He pretty much needed that, and Porky did his thing. Porky tried, but obviously Caleb Plant was a better fighter. You look at Caleb Plant, the aggression is missing, and but Virgil Hunter assures that the aggression will come. But you could tell, like Caleb Plant, he's 16-0 with 10 knockouts, but you could tell that he can punch. He just doesn't really sit down on his punches and really throw it with command. He has changed speeds on him. He'll throw something hard. He'll touch you. He has a great understanding of the game. I'm going to put you at Caleb Plant is very slick. He got a great understanding, good defense, good offense. Just he got to get some aggression. He going to see plenty of guys come with that game plan at 168 pounds that Porky Medina did. You know, kind of get outboxed with six rounds, and come on in the last half of the fight and try him and pressure him and try to take chances. And for Caleb Plant, he's got to be aggressive, especially if you want to plan on fighting the Benavidez, you find out fighting Ramirez, any of those pressure style guys. You know, you gotta have some aggression. But I look forward to him doing good things. He's the mandatory to the IBF, which Andre Dirrell is like, you know, under Caleb Truex as a co-champion. I don't understand that in the rankings. You know, if anybody have to answer to that, why is Andre Dirrell and Bo under Caleb Truex as like a co-champion? I don't know, but it definitely was an excellent fight last night for Caleb Plant. He fought like he's supposed to. He just got to be more aggressive. Then you go on to the main event on that card. It was Devin Alexander taking on Brandon Rios. Devin Alexander taking on Victor Ortiz. I keep calling Victor Ortiz Brandon Rios all last night in my head. I was like, man, I know they had some type of connection, but it was, you know, most people said it was a robbery. Yeah, it was a robbery, but, you know, when you go into Texas, you got to know where you stand. And you fighting a Mexican opponent or American and Mexican in Texas, you already 2 or 3 points on the scorecard down. That's just what it is in Texas. I wouldn't take on no Mexican or Mexican-American fighter in Texas. I mean, the scoring is just too biased in Texas down there. You might as well go to Mexico and fight him at Guadalajara or something like that. Because, you know, Devin Alexander, he beat Victor Ortiz, and I stopped scoring. You know, people who was on the live stream, live commentary we did last night, we did live commentary, live scoring, and I stopped scoring the fight. I said this, you know, Devin Alexander about, you know, like 6-7 rounds to 1, and, you know, they read the scorecards off, and it was a majority draw. I think one card was in favor of Victor Ortiz, and I said, how? And that's what happens, you know. And Devin didn't even look mad. He didn't look disgusted. His wife looked more disgusted than he did. But he did enough to win that fight. But he did way more than enough to win the fight. But at the end of the day, it's on him. This has been the story of Devin Alexander's whole career, ever since he lost to Timothy Bradley, in my opinion. This has been his story. Devin Alexander is a stiff fighter. Shout out to the comment subscriber who said that, or the commenter who said that. He's stiff, and that's been his problem. Not only that his problem, he doesn't follow up with anything behind 3 punches. And he rarely throws 3 punches. He's going to hit you with a punch and maybe a 2-piece. Maybe a 3-piece, but he doesn't go 4, 5, 6 in a combination. He's not a good combination puncher. Past the 3-punch combination, really past 2. And when you don't have elite power, as he has never really had elite power, the Juan Urango was a one-shot knockout that kind of made his power a little bit of a myth at 140. But when you don't have elite power, you have to do it by accumulation. He don't have bad power. He have above average power, right around average power. But he's not. What's going on, Mr. Campbell? You know, Devin Alexander doesn't. When you don't have that knockout power, you got to get to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the combination. You know, you got to do it by accumulation. And the punches, he schooled him. He schooled the quitter, but he wasn't putting nothing behind the 3. What's going on, Rob Gotti? What's going on, Moko? But he wasn't putting anything. I'll give you your question. He wasn't getting anything past 3. Rob, like, he was putting punches together, but it was like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But he needed to go 4, 5, 6. Ortiz, I was swore he was cutting on head. And if Devin would have put 4, 5, 6 in the combination, the referee probably would have jumped in there and stopped the fight for Devin Alexander, in my opinion. But he didn't go get it. You know, that been a problem with Devin Alexander, is he's stiff. He ain't the slickest. He's a good athlete. He got good understanding of boxing. But he's, like I said in the live commentary, he's a middle of the road type of fighter as much as attributes is. He's like Danny Garcia, but at least Danny Garcia has qualities that step out, like the left hook. He's a good counter puncher. You know, he has things. Devin Alexander is a good athlete, a great athlete, good athlete, but he doesn't punch hard. He's not the fastest. He's not the slickest. He needs to kind of refine his offense a little bit, in my opinion. Danny versus John Molina, no, it ain't gonna be next. But you might be right. That's how Danny. What's good, CJ? What's your best fight this weekend? Let me see his name. Minister Bank. Best fight of the weekend. I'm trying to think. It had to be Ronald and David Benavidez, in my opinion. That was the best fight this weekend that I seen. I seen most of them, all of them. Do you think Danny... I keep touching the screen because that's how I see comments on my phone. Do you think Danny got exposed last night? Or he was just rusty? I think Danny was really, to be honest... I think Danny was really trying to get rounds versus Brandon Rios. I think he was trying to get rounds versus Brandon. He was taking his time. I mean, I got a video coming up about Sean Border and Danny Garcia and my thoughts on it. But I'll give you a little insight into that video as well. But yeah, Devin just he didn't get to 4, 5, 6 in the combination. He should have just overwhelmed Ortiz last night. He could have, and Ortiz, he let Ortiz get some confidence down the stretch, and the judges took that as some points for Ortiz. But we thought Devin was way in front. But when you go to Mexico, when you go to Texas, that's what you get, man. But we talked about Caleb Plant. We talked about Groves and Eubanks already. Shout out to Caleb Plant. He's the IBF mandatory. And he said he boxed George Groves 20 out of 20 rounds or something like that. He said George Groves couldn't even touch him. And a lot of people seeing that Caleb Plant is a real good fighter now. But he just got to get some aggression. Danny walked through Rios. Yeah, Rios don't have no power. Rios was a powerful fighter at 135 pounds. He was good at 130. He was pretty good at 130. But 135 was Rios' thing. I remember he beat Anthony Peterson because Anthony Peterson kept, low blowing him. And he didn't want to beat her no more. Rios was getting him. But Rios really was an effective fighter at 147. Never was. He was more shot-born than anything at 147 by that time. He was abusing his body by squeezing down to 35. And when you drain your body to make weight, you drain in water that you need, and your brain sits in water. So once you drain water from your brain, so many times you keep trying to strain your body to make weight, letting your career, like Brother Nazim said, you're not going to be able to last. Your body it's going to turn on you. And, that's what happened to Brandon Rios, and that's what happened with a lot of guys that squeeze down to weights that they shouldn't be at. More guys should fight closer to their natural weight. Yeah, Danny did walk through. Rios didn't have no power last night. Rios didn't have really no snap. He been done. But, I appreciate the heart by Danny Rios, by Brandon Rios, but, he's done. He's done. Hopefully, they advise him to retire. I know his wife was there. She was crying when he got knocked out. But he's a tough guy, man. Rios overachieved. Now, like I said yesterday, if you can, Brandon Rios and Victor Ortiz, they came up together. If you can fuse Danny Garcia, if you can fuse Brandon Rios and Victor Ortiz, you might have something. If Victor Ortiz had Brandon Rios' heart, his mentality, and his chin, it'll be a dangerous fighter. But that's not what you got. But then you go on the Ray Robinson fight in Eubanks. We were still live at that point. What happened last night with the live stream was my internet reset for some reason. Xfinity be on some bullshit. They put a gigabyte bar, even though I'm not close to the gigabytes or whatever I was supposed to do. I was supposed to use, but they be resetting by 12 o'clock. Who do you think Danny's going to fight next? I'll explain that in 1 minute. How Xfinity is, man. Fuck them. But, I'm going to get to the Danny questions and everything else y'all want to hear about Charlo, the weekend, Shawn Porter, all that stuff that went on. We going to review the fights real quick, and then we going to get on to the shit that y'all probably really want to talk about. We got 4 more fights to talk about. I'm going to get through it real quick. Ray Robinson, Eubanks, obviously, we was going back and forth on the live commentary and the live chat. Obviously, in my opinion, just by watching the fight for like 10 seconds, I could tell Eubanks was going to knock Ray Robinson out or just dominate him. It was just by his posture. He looked real confident. He looked real confident in the pocket, and Ray Robinson was just loopy. He wasn't confident. Those guys kind of, physically mimic each other. They was both bald and long. But Eubanks, you could tell he was more confident in his posture. His delivery punches was more solid. Ray Robinson was throwing some good punches, but they was loopy. And it was just two classes of fighters in there that, it was a better grade of fighter. Eubanks has been through the ringer. He's lost to Amir Khan. He lost 2 split decisions other than that. He beat Thomas Delorme. So he won a bronze medal in Beijing. He won some gold Pan Am medals and some Caribbean World Championships. So he's a decorated guy. So we already dropped a video about him potentially fighting on Earl Spence. He did knock out Ray Robinson last night. I forgot which round. And he did his thing. But I'll talk about him and Earl Spence briefly. This ain't gonna be the most easiest fight for Earl Spence. Obviously, Carlos Ocampo, I haven't seen him fight, but the people who told me to see him fight, he's solid. But he only fought in Mexico, and they like to see him get more experience. He obviously said he might not be ready for June 16th for Earl Spence. And the IBF rankings is terrible. Obviously, Earl Spence is responsible for that, but they are terrible. But Eubanks is a good fighter. I think Eubanks probably can beat everybody else in those rankings. The one guy that may give him trouble off the top may be Luis Collazo if he's still ranked. I think Luis got dropped because he got injured. That's what happened. Luis Collazo was supposed to fight Earl Spence, I believe, in Dallas sometime last year. He got hurt, so he said he recovering. And we know Luis Collazo is he knocked out Sammy Vasquez, and he known for knocking people out. That old man still got the KO power, but I'll take Eubanks and Spence. Eubanks is strong. He's a decorated amateur. He won a bronze medal in 2018 Beijing Olympics, and why not? Why not? I mean, Earl Spence is gonna fight 3 times this year. I'm fine with it. If you fighting 3 times in a year, and you get a touch, you can get a little soft touch up, or okay type of fight, I'm cool with it. You know, this is his homecoming, and this is really to see where his market value is in Texas for Errol Spence, you know, and fighting Eubanks. I say that because we see Terrence Crawford had to give Top Rank some of his purse back just to fight in Nebraska. They didn't believe he was a pull in Nebraska. They didn't believe in him to fight in Nebraska. He gave some of his purse back for Bob Arum to give a fight in Nebraska. It blew up. I think it was the Gamboa fight, and now he doing big numbers there. Now it's Errol Spence time to show what he can do in Dallas. Most likely to be at the American Airlines Arena. We talked about in the video. We did already about it. If you want more in depth about Eubanks and Errol Spence, I dropped the video early. But yeah, I look forward to going down there supporting Errol Spence June 16th if everything go all right. Dallas is cheap. Travelocity is how I travel. So, you know, you want to go down to Dallas and check out Errol Spence. Premier Boxing Champions, one thing I can say about them, they have affordable ticket prices. And I swear they do. But what's going on for now? Shout out to him. He been on that boxing grind. Go subscribe to my boy for International Boxing Talk. But yeah, man, you know, I like Errol Spence and Eubanks. I did a video about that already. So if you want to check that out, after this, and I'm gonna drop another video after this about Danny and Shawn, but I'm gonna do some insight on that. We're moving on to the next fight, which is Benavidez and Ronald Garcia. And I must say, Ronald Garcia got the best chin I've ever seen of recently in boxing. I thought Danny had, you know, great, one of the better chins in boxing. Man, imagine if Amir Khan had the chin of Ronald Garcia. You know, he got a hard-looking face, though, but, you know, if you don't know about Ronald, he had a good amateur background. You can go to Wikipedia and they tell you all the amateur accomplishments. He had a good amateur background. He's a good fighter. You know, I didn't know he was good, how good he was until the first fight. And Benavidez, it shows you a true champion. You know, he didn't have to get Ronald the rematch. He could have, you know, tried to do something with somebody else, but he did. And that's a true champion. When you know a fight is close, hey, come back, let's do it again. That's what all the great fighters have done, or eventually they got the rematch. And Ronald, I'll tell you one thing about Ronald Garcia. Oh, no, for sure. I'll get to that in a minute. You're right, RB. But I can tell you, man, one thing that improved about Benavidez was obviously his spacing. Somebody mentioned that earlier. His distance, he was keeping Ronald at. But that jab was more improved this fight. That's something they really put emphasis on. You could tell the jab was real solid. And some people say Benavidez looked sloppy. Yeah, it's because he was 250 fucking pounds like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago or whatever. When you that big, you still got that movement. You know, you see a real fat person, you know, come down from like 350, 60 pounds and come down to like 200 pounds. They still walk like they're a big guy. You know, they still had those big guy tendencies. You could tell he was a bigger guy. And I was wondering about it by his body. You could tell he used to be a bigger guy. Before I even heard the story, one of the subscribers said Ring Magazine did a subscription on him. But you could tell he still got those big guy wobble to him. And that big guy still bone to him. And that still makes him dangerous and strong. But, man, his jab was definitely stiff last night. It was very stiff. You know, his punches was crisp, even though he hurt his hands. His body punching is phenomenal. He still got to work on defense, obviously, you know what I'm saying. But he's a phenomenal fighter for 21 years old. He was the youngest super middleweight champion in history. At 20, he turned pro 16. But last night, Ronald tried. He tried to do the same thing he did in the last fight. But obviously, Ronald tried to step up the body attack a little bit more. But, you know, Benavidez didn't let him. He put that stick on him, and that stick made Ronald cautious. That jab was a real hard jab. And then he put combinations behind him. And Benavidez threw the kitchen sink. Benavidez took his time with the punches and his flurries and he was trying to be methodical about taking the guy out, Ronald. And then he just started going crazy after that. After he almost knocked him out the first time, and then he gassed himself out. Stamina may be an issue for Benavidez, but how many guys are gonna take the beating that Ronald took last night? You know, and the referee must have been explained by Ronald's camp, like, look here, we're gonna take a beating, but I want that same opportunity, that same chance I got in the last fight. Don't take this from me. And Ronald took a beating the whole time, and he got an amazing chin, amazing stamina, amazing endurance. But Benavidez was in better shape this fight, and, you know, he did his thing, and he's a problem. I think he's one of the top 3 super middleweights in the world. I think he beats Groves, Eubanks Jr. I think he beats pretty much everybody. The only person that really I question is Gilberto Ramirez. I know they sparred a lot, but remember, he's only 21. He's the youngest champion in boxing. And it might be some super middleweights I'm missing. Maybe Anthony Durrell. I mean, I know Anthony Durrell, he ducked him. He passed up opportunity. Callum Smith is a good fighter. There's some good fighters that's young with him. But Benavidez being the youngest is definitely the most advanced. He's the younger brother of Jose Benavidez, the welterweight who put up on Terrence Crawford. But it's a good fight. And then at the end, I'll tell you each guy who I want to see each guy fight. I talked about. I'm going on to the main event. Obviously, Danny Garcia. We all know Danny Garcia is going to beat Brandon Rios. That big right hand came out of nowhere. What up, Brooklyn Boxing Talk? What's going on, Mike James Boxing? Mike was on there with us last night talking some boxing and stuff like that. And if you do a live chat on your computer, I know Fanon probably uses one of those, not Google Hangout, I forgot what they call them. You gotta download these little things so you can, do your little live video. I forgot what they call it. I just go through Google Hangouts, but you can put people on timeout when you go in the live chat. That's just crazy. And every time you cuss on the live chat, every time you cuss on the live chat, I have the option on the computer to put you on timeout. They hide your message. I just show them all. It don't make no difference. But yeah, Rios, Danny just took his time with him. Of course, he was rusty. He says rusty at the fight. I could see it. But he was sizing Rios up for so many shots last night. He knew he was gonna knock him out. He was taking his time. I think he wanted to go rounds. Rios just wasn't fresh at 47. He wasn't effective at 47. Even if he started square off there, he just wasn't a 47 pounder. He's better than a 35 pounder. Danny hit him with a big right hand. He came with a lazy jab. But Rios did have a good amateur background. Robert convinced him to go pro. But he wasn't enough last night. I hope they retire that guy. Let him retire. Hope he's done right with his money. He could retire. He fought Pacquiao. He made money with Pacquiao. He fought Timothy Bradley. Fought Danny Garcia. Made $500K last night. I talk about Shawn Porter and Danny, but obviously the last fight was Ray Beltran, Paulus Moses, Friday. I'll say that for last. I thought it was a close fight. I didn't score, so I can't say it was a robbery, but it was definitely closer than the scores indicated. Now Ray Beltran's about to get purged. He's sleeping with his belt and stuff like that. He about to get purged, and what that means is Lomachenko's about to murder him. Obviously, Linares and Lomachenko ain't gonna happen. You're more likely to get Mikey versus Lomachenko. Mikey fights in a few weeks, March 10th, right around my birthday. He's fighting in San Antonio versus Sergey Lipinets. If I'm Sergey Lipinets, I want to get that venue moved. That's what I've seen with Devin and Victor Ortiz. But I think Lipinets is the live dog. But, we more likely see Linares and Garcia later this year. Robert Jr., he ain't going to be fighting Mikey Garcia. If Mikey fights Linares and Lomachenko don't like it's going to happen. So that's what's going to happen. So then you go down, Shakur Stevenson. It's going to take time with Shakur. He's trying to be the patient fighter. He picked his shots good the other night. His first time he went 8. It's kind of like he's scared to get hit. He still hasn't really been acclimated to not having no headgear on and with 8-ounce gloves. It's going to take him some time to really get comfortable. I mean, people learn at different speeds. That's what I tell people. When they talk about Wilder's record, 30-40 wins, and people learn at different speed. It ain't about how long it take you to get there. As long as you get there. And Shakur is going to get there, in my opinion. I like what I'm seeing. He's kind of fighting like Andre Ward fights, with discipline and timing. He got an old type of style already. He's not a young gun. Like, he ain't going to go in there and go get it. Like I said, I think he's scared of getting hit without the headgear and with the smaller gloves. But I think he'll be fine. Probably about 2-3 years before he real step up to the real plate. He might not even get a title at featherweight. Excuse me. He might not get a title at featherweight. He might end up outgrowing that class, but I believe him and Mick Collins is going to be all right. I'm not worried about neither one of them. It's just going to be about continue to hone their skills. He's the 8-rounder already, getting to 10, getting to 12, fighting tough competition. But obviously, I don't have to talk about the World Box Super Series, who they going to fight next. We already talked about that already. Obviously, it's some concern about Groves may not be ready for the finalists. The finals with Yerman Berman and Callum Smith, whoever won that. I picked Callum Smith to win it from the beginning, so let everybody know. So about that. So then you go to Devin Alexander, Victor Ortiz. I suspect somebody said as well that Devin Alexander, or I believe it's going to be Devin, he might fight Keith Thurman. I say that because Keith Thurman says now that we haven't found an opponent, my management is looking for an opponent right now. And I believe it might be Devin Alexander. He might fight Devin Alexander somewhere in Florida. It might be a homecoming for Keith. I know Keith been trying to get a fight in Florida. Devin just fought in Florida. Devin is training in West Palm Beach, Florida with Kevin Cunningham. They moved it from St. Louis to West Palm Beach to get away from the cold and all the BS is going on in St. Louis. So I think Devin might fight Keith next, or shit, it could be Victor Ortiz for all we know. So one of those guys probably gonna get that fight. Caleb Plant is gonna have to wait for Caleb Truex and James DeGale to do their thing. They gonna rematch. DeGale has elected for his rematch. Caleb Truex, it's gonna fight DeGale. It might be stateside, so So then Anthony Durrell's fighting Andre Durrell's fighting Ukazi. So I think in some reason Andre Durrell is the mandatory or the co-champion with Caleb Truex in the IBF. So you might get Caleb Truex versus Andre Dirrell and Ukazi winner next. So just be a lookout on that. You go to the next fight. Ray Robinson, you got Eubanks. Obviously, Eubanks won that fight last night. So Eubanks is supposed to be fighting Earl Spence in Dallas, Texas, which I plan on going. That's what's gonna happen unless Carlos Ocampo elects to take his mandatory. He's already said he's not gonna be ready June 16th, and he might just step aside. So you might have Earl Spence and Eubanks. David Benavidez, that's a big mystery. Who he's gonna fight next? We don't know who he's gonna fight. He had 2 tough fights around him, so look for a soft touch. I haven't looked at the mandatories in the WBC, but Anthony Dirrell might be man enough to fight him right now. Yeah, I think he will get Earl a real good fight. Eubanks will. I think that'd be a good fight. He might be able to expose Earl, some of his weaknesses. But Eubanks is a bronze medalist, and he's a real good fighter. But yeah, that's what it is with them. Danny Garcia. Somebody asked me who Danny Garcia fight next. It's gonna be Shawn Porter. I reported that a few months ago that the WBC on their Instagram page said that Shawn Porter will have to fight the winner of Brandon Rios and Danny Garcia. Brandon Rios and Danny Garcia. We all knew it was going to be Danny Garcia. So that's why Shawn jumped in the ring. And I'll explain Shawn's situation in 1 second. Danny Garcia and Brandon Rios, that was the title eliminator. They didn't say it was title eliminator for no reason. So Shawn and Kenny knew that they had to face Danny Garcia, for the title eliminator. That's a fight that they want. Other than that, if they didn't have to fight a title eliminator versus Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter was actually going to just wait for Keith Thurman. And he started waiting. I'm explaining him in 1 second. But Danny and Shawn, I got a video coming up about that, but I'll get some insight on that real quick. They're going to fight each other next. I think, it's already established. The WBC already told them they had to fight each other. I don't know why Kenny and Shawn is acting all brand new. Danny knew it was going to have to happen. I'm glad Shawn stepped in the ring and he backed his word up, and I'll explain that in 1 second again. But the fight, itself is going to be basically, if Shawn Porter's jab is on point, Shawn Porter has the upper hand, in my opinion, in this fight. If Shawn Porter brings that, iffy, weak jab that he does come with sometime, Danny Garcia is going to handle him. I'm going to tell you that right now. This fight is really predicated on Shawn Porter's jab, If he jabs when he comes in and shows some movement, Shawn is a dangerous guy for anybody in the world at 147. He's very, very dangerous. But if he don't bring the jab and he brings that iffy jab and he brings some lazy jabs, he will get hit. He will get hit with the same shot Brandon Rios got hit with continuously versus Shawn Porter versus Danny Garcia. He will get hit with left hooks, the no look left hook. He will get hit to the body. He will get toe up. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But if he comes in with a jab, he said, what Mike just said. He said his head is yep. And Danny speaks that language very, very well. Danny's issue is fighting guys who show agility, who show quickness, who move around the ring. Shawn does have some good feet, but he ain't gonna move. He gonna come right at you, and this is gonna be counter city. Danny Garcia may be one of the top counter punchers in the sport of boxing, and Shawn gives you a lot of opportunities to counter. If you can be patient and you can see, and your vision is good, and a lot of people underestimate the attribute of vision. Terrence Crawford, when I watched the film of him, his eyes remind me of Pernell Whitaker. They get real big, and he's able to see everything that's coming. And Danny has got good vision as well. To be a counterpuncher, you have to have good vision. You have to be able to see and anticipate movement from the fighter that you're facing. But sometimes you can't anticipate what Shawn Porter's going to do. He's wild, he's rugged, but this plays into Danny Garcia's hand. Danny Garcia is going to be able to counter Shawn Porter. He's going to be able to work Shawn Porter, and it's going to be a good fight. And Shawn can win this fight for sure. Don't get it messed up. I told somebody this earlier. Shawn can win this fight. Shawn is a good fighter. They already been working on game plans to beat Danny Garcia for sure. But, Shawn is a plan A fighter. Danny Garcia is a plan A, B, and C fighter. He has different plans. He can walk you down. He can't cut the ring off. He can walk you down. He can box you. He can counter punch you. He can go to the body. Shawn is a one-dimensional fighter, but that one dimension, it beats a lot of people. And you don't have to be a multi-dimension guy or Swiss in the Army type of guy in boxing. Your style might just be enough right there, but I slightly favor Danny Garcia. I know it's probably going to shock a lot of people, but I think he's going to counter Shawn. I think he's going to have an opportunity to knock Shawn out. I don't think he will, but I think he has opportunities. But right now, when I turn on the film, my opinion can change. I definitely can see Shawn winning the fight. But, I've seen Shawn do some interviews. He had a press conference at his high-performance gym that him and his dad has built in Vegas. And it just sounds like he's fed up. A lot of people was laughing. Hold on 1 minute. A lot of people was laughing at Shawn. A lot of people was laughing at Shawn and said, oh, you know, now Shawn is a villain. It's not the fact that Shawn's a villain. The fact of Shawn Porter is he's tired of sitting around waiting. He's been a nice guy. He's been a very complimentary type guy. He's been a real stand-up guy. At the end of the day, somebody must have got Shawn Porter like, look, you got to go get it. You know, we can't, his dad probably said, we can't keep making this weight and straining our body for this long. And he's right. Now, he straightened his body to make it. Well, he came from 154 to come down, Shawn Porter. He was a middleweight in the amateurs. You know, he beat Alexander Usyk. The dude that's in a World Boxing Super Series tournament, Shawn Porter beat him in the amateurs. You know, Shawn Porter, you know, he beat a lot of guys in the amateurs. He got his amateur track record is legendary. You know, and he was a hell of an amateur, but, you know, he's just tired, man. He's sick and tired. You know, he said it last night best at one of the interviews. He said, in Keith Thurman face, he said, you the reason that nobody's fighting. You holding 2 belts, you milking it, you not telling nobody what you're doing. And obviously, he ain't picked an opponent yet since dropping out negotiations with Jesse Vargas. Somebody had to pull up on Keith Thurman. And I thought it should have been Earl Spence that should have did it. But at the end of the day, Earl is not that way. Earl is more of a Southern guy. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be God's will. It's gonna happen. I'm not gonna let him dictate my career. But Shawn, like, I'm sick of this shit, man. You know, I want to fight you and move up in weight and continue to avoid Earl Spence. You know, but you know, Keith said, you know, Keith milking it. Keith milking it. Keith is that co-worker that nobody liked that got promoted to team leader or got promoted to management, and you like, fuck. That's Keith Thurman right now. He's milking the situation, man. He definitely is milking it, but a lot of guys out here will milk the situation. You know, that's what he do. I mean, what can help Keith Thurman is kind of coming up with an opponent right now. And like I said in the beginning, Keith Thurman just signed a contract to fight Earl Spence right now. Say, okay, the second fight in 2019, I'll fight Earl Spence. The first or second, depending on how my elbow is. Do what Andre Ward did. When Andre Ward signed his multi-fight contract with HBO, he signed as part of that contract to face Kovalev. It was already in ink. He's like, yeah, I'm not scared of him. If Keith Thurman signs a contract to fight Earl Spence in 2019, I guarantee you he won't be getting badgered. Earl Spence has a belt. He ain't waiting for Thurman. Yeah, you're right. He ain't waiting for Thurman. He is waiting for Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants those 3 belts. And with those 3 belts, it comes with a better pay grade. With those 3 belts, I mean, people start talking, you know, pound for pound, number 1, 2, or 3, 4 or 5, depending on what you think. With that pay grade, you know, with them 3 belts, I mean, you can start talking Terrence Crawford in a super fight. With those 3 belts, I mean, he cemented his 147 legacy. He can think about going to 154. I mean, it opens up a lot of different possibilities with him beating Keith Thurman. And, you know, he said that those guys was lame on Twitter last night. It was lame. But at the end of the day, Shawn Porter's just tired of waiting. You know, that's all it is. Shawn Porter wants to fight Keith and move up. You know, I don't think he can make the wait too much longer, in my opinion. He had murdered Frankie Gavin. I forgot the other guy's name. What up, Angel? But yeah, that's all it is. Shawn Porter said it. He was like, you know, I'm going to have to start pulling up on these guys. And I was like, Shawn Porter ain't about that life. That's what I'm thinking in my head. That's why I'm giving him pride. I'm thinking, like, Shawn ain't going to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Shawn ain't like that. He a real respectable dude, man. But when I see him go, hurt in the room, I heard it. I heard the bark before, I seen Shawn Porter. Yeah, Angel and Kenny going to be epic, dog. Now, Ruben Guerrero kind of put Angel in his place. You know what I'm saying? He did, though. But I like Shawn and Kenny, man. You know, when they're not ducking Earl Spence. But, oh yeah, Jim put them in their place. Like, man, get out the ring. It's Danny Garcia night. But that's what happened when people deprive you of an opportunity. And that's what Shawn thinks. Like, I fought 2 mandatories. I'm deprived of opportunity to face Keith Thurman. And, you know, at the end of the day, Keith Thurman said, oh, my arm. He's not lying about the arm. I don't think the arm is 100% healthy. And I don't believe that he's going to fight May 19th. I don't think it's concrete in his mind. I think that's the date they're giving him. But his elbow is really messed up. I seen him on Camp Life with the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Nestor Gibbs. His come up been real fast and swift. And, you know, I contribute to that channel. You know, all my viewerships and stuff of that nature. I love that channel. But he was training with, after he got done training, he had the ice on his elbow and it still was bruised. So he ain't confident in it. But if it was the UFC, Dana White probably would have stripped him. Man, Jim needs to step back like Coach said, and the guy argued. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jim can do that, but remember, when you on Showtime, you got a certain time period that you got to be on and off TV. So that's why probably Jim said that. But like I said, man, Keith Thurman is not 100% right now. I can tell you that right now. Keith Thurman is not 100%. So I mean, like I said, I did a video and somebody got mad, and I was like, if Keith don't fight by June, he need to be stripped. Shawn said he need to be stripped. You know, a lot of people feel, and if he's stripped, I mean, you know, people act like it's the end of the world if he gets stripped. You know, if he gets stripped, I'm like, you know, what does it matter? Do you watch Hitman Boxing? No, I don't watch Hitman Boxing. I gotta follow that. I think I seen, you know, his video before. I mean, seen his channel come up on, you know, subscribe before. But I think I did subscribe to him. My homie Revilla put me on him. He got the I forgot, but I seen his channel before. But the thing about it is with Keith is, you know, if he don't fight by June, he should be stripped. And I said that, and somebody got mad, and it's factual. And when he gets stripped, it's like this, bro. All right, when you healthy, you can get your mandatory back anytime you want. Whoever got the belt, you can get the mandatory. If you hold the WC, we make you the mandatory when you're ready to go for the WBA. He should get that mandatory. Maybe they should do an interim title for. They tried to do an interim title. Let me see what that is. Mike, got this, Mike. Yeah, no, Mark Burnett. Bennett. They tried to do an interim title. This what happened though with that. The WBC ordered Danny and Shawn Porter to fight for an interim title until Keith came back. Danny Garcia didn't answer the call. Plain and simple. That's what Shawn Porter did, the Macho Man Randy Savage thing. But Danny said he told Al he shut it down for the year. He wasn't fighting. So name what it is. They should strip him though. Forget an intern, but they need to strip him in the WBA, WBC if he don't fight by June. That's just my opinion. On June, I don't. He shouldn't, but he's fighting May 19th. He said it's on go. I still don't have a lot of confidence that's just a go May 19th, but that's for him. I still support Keith. That's still my favorite fighter. I haven't moved off that. Him and Earl, I like them both. You know, them two. I like Gilberto Ramirez. I've been a fan of him for a long time. Benavidez moved up that way. Purdue Jack moved up. Charlo's obviously moved up. And that's none of them main guys I do like. Lomachenko is probably like 2 or 3 on my list of favorite fighters. I mean, he's the shit. I definitely got mad love for Lomachenko. I know he got 10 fights. Last year, he was overrated by what he did last year, in my opinion. I love Bud Crawford. Contrary to what people believe. You know, I like a lot of different guys. Mikey Garcia, I've been a big supporter of him. He was my #1 fighter for a long time before the inactivity. So, but I'm going to tell you about this Jermell Charlo thing, man. Jermell Charlo, he went on, he did a round table. You know, Jermell Charlo, excuse me, Jermell wasn't there this weekend. And, he did a round table with Sam Watson and some other reporters. Mayweather Boxing channel was there asking Jermell Charlo some questions. And we talked about the video already, so I can go in depth with this. He said that he's, you know, him and Ronnie Shield, you know, fell out because I'm gonna say what happened. Obviously, this is what something he said. I'm gonna get to that. But to the Ring magazine, he did an interview with them about a year ago or 2 years when he split. He said it was about a money split with Ronnie Shields. He wanted to train closer to Dallas. He didn't want to train the place gym no more. He ended up buying his own gym or something like that. Some weak excuses like that. But ultimately, what he said it came down to was Ronnie Shields was disrespecting him in the Violence Monterosian fight. I believe he was talking to him like he crazy, and he said he ain't gonna let nobody disrespect him in between the fight. Disrespect him between the fight. I'll get to that Groves question in the morning. He said Ronnie Shields just disrespecting him and talking him crazy. He goes on to say, "I'm better than every Ronnie Shield fighter out there." You know, right now, I'm better than Lara. I'm better than Jamal. His twin, obviously, he said I'm better. He said I'm out to prove that. He said he wants to retire by 30. I remember Amir Khan said that a few years ago. That didn't happen. He's still trying to prove something. But, you know, his other brother, you know, they do compete. I heard him talk about who better in sparring and all that. But I've been telling people Jermell was the better Charlo brother. He fought the tougher competition at 54 before they got their titles. And he talked about some interesting things as well. He talked about how Golden Boy promised if he beat Gabriel Rosado, he would got the Canelo fight. And, you know, he respects Canelo, though. The Charlo brother got love for Canelo Alvarez. They pick it, that Charlo, Jermell is picking him to beat Golovkin this time. But, you know, he said they promised. He said Golden Boy kept doing false promises. He said it wasn't Al Heyman that got him away from Golden Boy. He said he wrote his own release form to Golden Boy because they kept giving him telling him if he beat this guy that he would get this fight. And he didn't get the fight that he was looking for. And, you know, he talked about making, you know, financial mistakes by buying a Rolls Royce, and he wished he could refinance it now. And, you know, he just said, you know, he's learning. And he's going to retire by 30. That's his plan. He's better, and obviously he got smoked for Ronnie Shields. He said Derrick James is a hell of a better trainer than Ronnie Shields. He said me and Derrick James speak every day. They asked him what's the recipe, you know, what's the secret about Derrick James' boxing gym. He said the temperature in the ring is the difference. He said, you know, Erislandy Lara doesn't compare, I'm paraphrasing, to sparring with Errol Spence. He said Errol Spence is the truth. He hits hard as hell. He said he's a better sparring partner. He's a better, he's a better fighter than Erislandy Lara. He said it. He said Errol Spence is better than Erislandy Lara for me. He said, you know, basically, you know what they say, iron sharpening iron. And he just unloaded on him. He said, I'm going to fuck Erislandy Lara up. I'm paraphrasing him. He said he's going to beat his ass. You know? He said he's going to beat his ass. And he said, you know, his brother kind of jumped in. I can tell questions women. His brother jumped in when they was at another fight. And he said he's not going to allow his brother to fight Lara until he's ready. He said all their kids play together. They grew up together. But obviously the other Charlo, Jermell, that's in a situation, he said that he going to fuck Lara up. He said he's sick of the bullshit. He's sick of Ronnie Shields. He ought to prove that he ought to take out every Ronnie Shields fighter. That's what it sounds like. And he on that tip, you know. He on that tip. And also he said about the Canelo situation. Golden Boy just kept doing false promises. He said he wrote his own release letter. It wasn't Al Heyman that got him away from Golden Boy. But he said that obviously, he said when I'm with Golden Boy, he said I wouldn't have did the fight neither. He said I'm too dangerous for Canelo Alvarez. He said I wouldn't have did the fight at the time neither. He said, you know, he got still respect for Golden Boy, respect for Canelo, obviously. He does respect that man. And, you know, he said a lot. You know, if you go back and find those interviews on Fight Hype or Fight Hub, Mayweather Boxing Channel got him, he said a lot. You know, in the temperature in the gym, in the ring, most people don't understand that. The hotter it is in your gym with no air conditioning, the meaner the fighters are. The Kronk gym in Detroit, I'm not too far from the second one they had it burned down, but the original one was up the street from my high school. It's over there by Number Streets in Detroit. But that was their calling card. The heat of Kronk Gym, it made guys meaner. It made guys have better stamina. It made guys better fighters, cut weight faster. The heat can make cowards of people. I remember one of the great guys said that. Some great guy said that heat can make cowards of people in sports, and he can. You know, heat is dangerous, especially in Detroit. Let me explain this. When you live in Detroit, anybody in the surrounding area, you know, it might be 89 degrees or 90-some degrees or 80 degrees, but the difference is this. In Florida, people can tell you this. I stay in Florida as well. The humidity is different from dry heat. Dry heat, you can take 100 degrees, 110 degrees of dry heat. But if you say 90 degrees with a lot of heat, with just enough humidity, it's no heat like that. It's no heat like humid heat. It's the moisture in the air will tear you up. It will tear you up. Humidity will choke you, man. All those high school football practices, running, and oh my God, it's no joke. But in Texas, that's dry heat. But still, the heat of the gym, that's serious. And old school gym still. You know, that's what they did with no heat. You know, you playing air conditioning and stuff. You need your fighters mean and uncomfortable. And, you know, that's the truth. But this is who he may be fighting next. I know a lot of you guys hanging on that came on from the beginning. Jermell, I got an idea who he's fighting. He's gonna be fighting old Al Heyman, old Bob Arum, old Al Heyman type of fighter. His former opponent, Erislandy Lara, former opponent who he rematched with. Vanes Martirosyan is who he's trying to fight. He wants to knock out Vanes Martirosyan. He wants to prove. He said, when I fought Vanes the first time I was a kid, he was still with Ronnie Shields. And I think that's the fight with him and Ronnie Shields. He said Ronnie Shields disrespected him in the corner, and that's what broke them apart. He said he ain't going to talk to me no type of way. And he was a kid. And he was a boxer, counter-puncher, boxer-puncher, mover at that point. And Vanes was a tough opponent for him. It was a fight tougher than what it had to be, and it was a fight. Not only was the reason Ronnie Shields, but he wanted to become more offensive like his brother was, and he joined Derrick James, and it worked for him. He became a better puncher. He became a better fighter, and it worked for him. So that's the guy he's trying to target, but the issue is Vanes moved on from Al Heyman. A lot of people didn't know that. Excuse me. He moved on from Al Heyman, right? So he moved on from top rank Al Heyman, but the thing about Vanes Martirosyan, oh, for sure, I appreciate it, my brother. I'm going to catch your next live stream as well, hopefully, God willing. I'll go back and watch them. But the thing about it is with Vanes Martirosyan, he's Armenian descent. He was one of the best welterweights, best amateurs at 152 out there. He beat Tim Threat. I heard, man, what's the guy that just lost his brother out in Oakland? Kareem Mayfield. He lost his brother. He was talking about how Tim Bradley had bad luck in the amateurs and drew Vines Monterosian in the first round, and when the amateur tournament got put out. Said Vines was a tremendous amateur. Obviously, he was trained by Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach didn't have enough time for him. He dropped him and Peter Quillen. Eric Brown took Peter Quillen. Then Vines moved on. But he was just never able to break through with Top Rank. Top Rank had big plans for Vines, but, I mean, it got to the point where they let him go fight Erislandy Lara on Golden Boy, with Golden Boy, and they just let him go. And then he lost to Andrade. Then he had a close fight with Charlo. Now he having promotional issues. I don't know what his promoter is, but if he get it together, he got a Jermell Charlo fight waiting for him as well. And like I said, the reason Shawn Porter was on tip this weekend, I'll switch over real quick. The reason Shawn Porter was really on tip this weekend, y'all, he's tired of being waiting. He's tired of waiting. He wants it now. I think he wants to get WBC belt, move up to 54. I think he's having a hard problem making 147. And I think he wants to fight with Keith and eventually move up. But oh, that's where if he went to K2, I don't know where he went. If he went to K2, he's having promotional issues because they've called and inquired about fighting Vines Monterosian according to Charlo. So you know, maybe that's what it is. Why does everyone hate on Danny Garcia? He's one of the best resumes. Hey, he do. Danny Garcia does have a top resume in boxing, but people don't realize it. You know about Danny Garcia. They don't. They don't realize his resume. They don't realize what he's done. He fought Kendall Hart. You know, Kendall Hart hit Timothy Bradley, one of the hardest punches I've seen. Bradley was twitching on the canvas, and Bradley got up and won. Go back and watch that fight. As well as one of the fights I recommend. If you like amateur fights, or if you don't like amateur fights, the one that I do recommend, I didn't do a blast from the past this week. I'll get to it, to my homie Quan video and all that. But the thing about it is, Vernon Forrest versus Costa Tszyu is one of the greatest amateur fights that I've ever seen. It was for gold medal fight. Go back and watch it. It's out there on YouTube, I believe. Costa Tszyu versus Vernon Forrest. It was an amazing amateur fight. I mean, he had everything you're looking for in any type of fight that you're looking for. It's a great fight. But Costa Tszyu came on top, though. I want to be, everybody pretty much know that. But yeah, you can get into the questions right now. But other than that, man, Shawn Porter just tired of waiting. I think Shawn is having a problem making weight. He said that he ain't know how much longer he gonna make this weight. Shawn came from like 165 in the amateur, so yeah, man, he having a problem making weight. But the Charlos is looking to make a move now. The Jermell Charlo, the big one, he got a whole family. He got like 2 or 3 kids. I'm pretty sure Jermell got some kids as well. So we'll see. So you got any questions right now? Go up this feed, come up with the questions about anything y'all got, and don't forget the super flyweight tournament. The super flyweight Strada versus Sorek is going down this weekend. Why is Canelo fanboy trying to say Canelo don't know or didn't know who Charlo was last year? These men, oh yeah. They know, Angel, they know, people know who Canelo is. Canelo knew who he was. Canelo, they had a picture taking a picture with the Charlos back when, you know, one of them had their dreads, and that was a pretty much long time ago. So they know exactly, Canelo knows who they are. They was promotional buddies and all that stuff. So they know what he was. Go to Aquanic Japan during the hot season. Lord have mercy. Oh man, you must have been in the military, Angel. I actually had a honor society trip to Japan, to Asia. I just didn't do it. I should have did it, but that was a long time ago. I was an honor roll student, believe it or not, high school. Why does everyone hate on Danny Garcia? Yeah, I say yeah. Danny got one of the best resumes in boxing. For sure. I'll get to the next question. I got questions right now. I'll shoot them anything about the weekend, about the future, whatever you got question boxing wise. You know. I'm gonna go try to catch this All-Star game later on. I don't know when it come on. I didn't pay attention with so much boxing on last night. We was watching a little bit of we was talking about a little bit of the dunk contest last night. But you know, he put the Black Panther on, then we switched back to boxing, so on the live stream. But Danny does have one of the best resumes. He fought Nate Campbell, the Galaxy Warrior. He might have been old. You know, Morales was favored to beat Danny Garcia. Most people forget that. You know, he was favored to beat Danny Garcia. And I think before that was the Morales faced Madonna. Yeah, Morales faced Madonna before Danny Garcia. Morales gave Madonna all he wanted and more. So, yeah, Danny is an accomplished guy, but people just don't like the cherry pick by Danny, man. He milking it too much now. AJ is ducking water like Thurman is ducking Errol Spence. I mean, yeah, but you know, Anthony Joshua going for a third major world title. So, I mean, yeah, he ducked Luis Ortiz though. He sure did. I did like 10,000 videos. People remember I was doing that video like every day about him ducking Luis Ortiz, but Ortiz got popped, you know, so he did it to himself. So, but yeah, you know, Anthony Joshua was gonna eventually fight Wilder. But I just like clowning Anthony Joshua because he, 2020, 2019, why everybody trying to wait that long, man? And he don't want to fight in America. That's stupid. Do you think Eubanks Jr. should or could move down? He can move down to 160. I mean, 160 is more of a danger zone for him than 168. He ducked Danny Jacobs already. Danny Jacobs would beat him. Charlo's would beat him. I mean, Robert Brandt might give him a run for his money. So, Eubanks Jr., he don't got a box. He might have to, Naseem said, he may want to consider retirement, man. It's no room for him at 168. He's just a guy with a name that people want to make money off of. He needs to really sit back and he wants to fight. He has the will of a champion. He has the heart of a champion. He's not a gimmick son, like Chavez Jr. was just taking it, for just living off his daddy name. He ain't doing that, but he need fundamentals. He need to work on his feet, work on his jab. And in boxing, if you got feet and a jab, it can take you a long way. Feet is one of the most fundamental things about boxing that's go overlooked. That's the first thing they teach you when you walk in the boxing gym is your stance. People say, people say in the boxing groups, what you learn first? Should you learn, punch, should you learn a jab or should you learn defense first? The first thing they gonna do is they gonna teach you feet. They put you against them. Some of the gyms put you in that back wall and they put your back foot in the wall and they put your leg, in the right position. The back wall helps you give you what perfect distance between, your legs, between your legs and your stance you need to have. But, that's what he need to get back to fundamentals. He got the athletic Team LeBron going Mark. Team Mercury, hell, it probably is. Team LeBron is crazy, but he got a lot of injuries over there. I'm mad that my homie Ben Simmons ain't make it. Crawford was in. I seen him. Crawford had 9 points, but Quavo was balling though. I didn't see the. I bet because he fought like his accuracy percentage in boxing was better than his field goal percentage in basketball. That was crazy. He hit people at a higher rate than he made shots. But Crawford is definitely a special athlete. He's a special. You can tell he's a special boxer. And that I think Wilder's sleeping on Ortiz. That's gonna be a good fight. They was promoting that fight like a mug on Fox. And one thing I think about, y'all can keep shooting the questions I'm going down. One thing I'm off a little trouble. One thing I'm worried about Wilder is, man, it's not even anything in the ring. I'm worried about Wilder's team. Why are they not letting him fight on free TV? He should be fighting on Fox. He should be fighting on NBC. He should be doing that. He was really, a lot of people was really singing his praises when he was fighting on regular TV. Even people I go to work that don't watch boxing. Deontay Wilder, yo, bud, and all that. So his name was ringing better when he was on fighting on regular TV. Eubanks would struggle with anybody top 5 in the 100. You ain't lying. He can't even make 154 though. I'm pretty sure he needs to just get back to fundamentals or retire. Yeah, take a year off and just work on his craft. Yeah, I was gonna say that was in my head. Yeah, he needs to take a year. I said about Adrian Broner, man. I said that I said that Adrian Broner should have took a year off after Mikey Garcia, assessed his life. But obviously Eubanks Jr. is he's more functionable and his lifestyle is not as lavish as Adrian Broner. He got more security behind him with his dad having some money. He got a little bit of money. Broner's supporting like 1,000 people. He's supporting probably the whole city of Cincinnati. So it's a little bit different from him to take a year off. But he should have took a year off, got with a trainer. He should have sat down. Like, what they do like they do like when football teams come in. You got a quarterback, star quarterback, let's say Aaron Rodgers. You looking for a new head coach. You gonna, hey, this is what we can do to improve. Help you out. Do this, sit down with him, see what you want to do. That's what Broner should have did with some coaches, but he didn't do that. Eubanks trains with Floyd Mayweather seniors part-time, but he don't do it full-time. He go right to UK. He better serve moving back to Las Vegas and honing his skill at the Mayweather boxing gym. There's a lot of good sparring in there. This sport is so brutal. Many in the UK consider Eubanks an up-and-coming pound-for-pound fighter. Now he's back at the bottom. No room for the weak. Yeah, sport is... he can build himself back up. Everybody can see... Everybody sees Eubanks as an elite talent. Elite talented athlete. He's very fast, quick, but his mentality is he can just blow anything out the water. This is definitely rated R right now. Kind of like a young guy when you first start in high school, or whenever you start, messing with ladies, you just want to kill the vagina. You want to kill it, But after a while, you learn how to really, learn some finesse and kind of use and balance the finesse and power and the sexual. And Eubanks Jr. just want to, that's what he want to do right now, man. He going to have to learn how to finesse. A little bit finesse in this game. The sport is brutal. Yep, Eubanks and Danny Garcia, Porter all need better trainers. And Porter is what Porter is, man. I don't think Porter can do anything else. Kenny Porter used to be a boxer. I think he hurt himself. But he designed that sound. He designed Shawn Porter's style. He designed it himself. So Kenny knows the thing about the game. He worked in the amateur system. Danny, Shawn is better fundamentally and as far as his footwork than Shawn. Danny just don't know how to cut the ring off. That's his biggest problem. Dudes is that move, Danny can't have, and people, and then, I think it was Kenny Porter that tried to make it seem like, Danny, just because his feet was slow, that he couldn't cut the ring off, it just wasn't going to work versus Keith. That's not the fact. If you learn to cut the ring off, and you learn basic fundamentals of moving your legs and closing distance, Golovkin is not the fastest guy in the world with his legs, but he can cut the ring off good, right? So is Earl Spence. He ain't got the fastest feet ever, but it's technique. It's basic. Cutting the ring off is real basic. It's basic boxing 1-on-1 for the most part. If you got a guy that like moving, he's an orthodox fighter, and he like moving to the left a lot for some reason. He probably trying to shoot that right hand. You step over to his left and make him go right. You step where you anticipate where he's gonna be, and a lot of guys can't cut the ring off. And that's factual. But I definitely agree with the other guys. I think Porter is what Porter with Robert Garcia. Kenny will probably drag his ass back to Vegas. You ain't training with Robert. You my son. Needs to learn to listen to overtrainers and come stiff. His own worst enemy. You talking about Eubanks, Roy, Tekashi still chilling in L.A. I don't know. Is that guy Tekashi 6ix9ine? Is he gay? I don't know about him. I just see him. I see him down my YouTube, my Facebook stream like so much. I don't know if he gay. I ain't heard a song by him, but at the end of the day, he probably got security. But hey, is the Bloods and the Crips in LA getting a little bit complacent? Well, I doubt it though. They know it'll be a big news and it'll be too much heat on them. A lot of these young guys, these young gangsters, they dumb, but they ain't that dumb to go touch that man. I think Porter and Spence eat Danny alive. Watching struggle with Rios. Pressure Danny easily beats Rios, but remember he was JD films. He was off for a long time, so I think he was just trying to get rounds in with Rios. I think he could have blasted Rios a lot earlier than that. I think it was just rounds. I still favor him to beat Porter though. That's just my opinion, just slightly right now. Porter fights like a chick to me. If he can grab your hair, he probably would. I'm saying, stitch those thumbs down now. You think boxers need more than one trainer? Crawford has offense and defense coach, all three. Yeah, Crawford has 3 trainers. The Mexican guy, Bo Mack is the most vocal, and he got another one. If it worked for him, it worked for him. Obviously, Crawford doesn't mind taking care of his team and paying extra money. If it works for him, I don't think you need 3 trainers. But when you want to, if you're the Mayweather boxing gym, you got knowledge all over there. So, you can work with Eddie Mustafa. You got Mike McCallum that be there, Dewey Cooper. You got the Mayweather brothers. Jeff and Roger. So it depends. If Crawford does have 3 trainers, and obviously you can see that it works for Crawford because Crawford's weaknesses is real. His holes in his game has become smaller. I see big holes in Crawford's game. As far as getting hit with a lot of the same repetitive shots, same shots being repetitive, but he closed the gap. It works for him. I think some fighters will benefit from hiring another coach, a defensive coach. 3 minds are better than 1. Danny could be much better fighter, but I think his dad is taking him as far as he can go. That's a good assessment. That's very, very true. Bernard Hopkins would have been a nice coach for Danny Garcia, in my opinion, but obviously they beefing now. Since Danny's contract ran out with Golden Boy, Bernard has had nothing nice to say about Garcia's. Ortiz got a gift. He got a gift draw. Tekashi seems gay. I don't know. Is Tekashi 6ix9ine gay? I don't know. R.P. Johnny Tappy. Yeah, I was watching a documentary on Johnny Tappy. He was absolutely the truth. You like UFC too? Cowboy fights tonight. Yeah, I've been trying to get in the UFC ever since the first John Jones and DC fight. I've been getting into it, man, and then I've been walking around. A lot of guys be doing UFC. I'm put my daughter and my nephew into mixed martial arts real soon, and I recommended to my barber put his son in there. Said his son is a little bit you know, a little bit of a softy or whatever. So just some off topic talk. Any more questions, I'll still answer them. Steve said he's a little soft, and I was like, put him in martial arts because in martial arts they teach you technique, and I think learning technique can kind of translate to life. If you can learn one technique, then football tackling technique, and I told him he'd be better off doing that. Martial arts is a good table setter for life, but yeah, I used to be into probably back in the day. Haven't had to. Yeah, I was watching the UFC. They used to come on Showtime. That ain't mixed martial arts, and the Federer guy, he was just destroying everybody. He went to UFC and got destroyed though, man. But I'm gonna drop the Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia video on the preliminary thoughts video after this process, man. Anybody got more questions, I answer them. Do you think Wilder is Michael Grant 2.0? Yeah, Michael Grant was a talented fighter, just didn't live up to it. The Anthony Joshua fight, the Luis Ortiz can answer that for you. I mean, if he beat Luis Ortiz and then he goes on to beat Anthony Joshua, no. But if he loses to Luis Ortiz, he's gonna be one of the most overrated, overhyped fighters amongst everybody. But in fact, if he loses to Luis Ortiz, excuse me, if Wilder loses to Luis Ortiz, at the end of the day, he overachieved. A lot of people won't look at it that way. He overachieved. He got into boxing because his daughter had she had an illness. She had a handicap, and he needed to support her, and he got into boxing at a late age, and he's done that. He's become a multi-millionaire. Obviously, Al Haymon is helping these guys invest their money greatly. And he did what he supposed to do, but he didn't seek out boxing to be the greatest boxer of all time. I don't believe in the beginning. He sought out to take care of his daughter, and he's done that. He accomplished that, and being boxing that late, Donna Stevenson is overachieved. Sergio Martinez overachieved. Gabriel Rosado, even though he can world champion overachieved. Deontay Wilder already overachieves in my opinion, but a lot of people are not gonna look at it that way. They're gonna say I'm a bum, overrated. You know how they treat him. He was the most hated fighter I've ever seen. I'm a daily supporter of your channel, bro. Tremendous, consistent. Oh, shout out. JD Films, I see you all the time, bro. Definitely get to every comment, at least I try to. So you think if he loses to Ortiz, he will retire? That's a good question. Remember when Seth Mitchell lost to, remember he got knocked out by Jonathan Banks? Jonathan Banks from Detroit as well. Jonathan Banks took over the Chronic Boxing Gym for Emmanuel Stewart. Bless Manny Soul. And when Seth Mitchell, he came back and beat Jonathan Banks, and then I believe it was Chris Arreola who knocked him around the ring like a mug. Just knocked him from ring post to ring post. They told him to retire. I believe Al Haymon gave him some money, or he invested his money good. He was a former football player. And Seth Mitchell had the entire package, really. He just didn't have a chin. For a guy that started boxing late, he had a great skill set for a guy that boxed late. If Dominic Brazil had Seth Mitchell's skill set and Seth Mitchell had Dominic Brazil's chin, they'd be a dangerous combination. But maybe so. If Wilder gets knocked out, I don't think he recovers from that type of knockout. He may not be the same, so he may retire, but he's gonna try again. But if he loses to Ortiz, he's overachieved. He made millions, and he did what he wasn't supposed to do in boxing. He succeeded at a late age. You think if Wilder was saying he would beat Tyson in his prime? Yeah, I did a video on that. He ain't gonna beat Tyson in his prime. Mike Tyson contributed more boxing fans than probably almost any boxer since Muhammad Ali, in my opinion. He did. I mean, Rory was awesome in the 90s, but nobody was Tyson. I don't think we have an exciting fighter like Tyson in probably ever in our lifetime, for sure. Because everybody gonna be like, oh, the heavyweight division is weak. I'm talking about heavyweight wise, it's weak. But Tyson, he's definitely responsible for a lot of boxing fans and the rise of boxing, the rise of pay-per-view, and it was nobody like him. He was knocking people out in like 10 seconds. He will retire. Yeah, he might will. He might not be the same. Some guys can't take an L, especially in the heavyweight division. It's hard to bounce back. Wilder was talking out his ass. Yeah, he was talking crazy, man. Look. I'm gonna end on this, man. Deontay Wilder mad because Mike Tyson don't support him and support Anthony Joshua. That's what it is. James Toney, he support Anthony Joshua, but he don't hate on Deontay Wilder. He don't say nothing bad about Deontay. And I think that's what it should be. The old fighter should back the new fighters. Like James Toney, he said, you know what? I like them both. I met Anthony Joshua. He definitely needs to fight in America. I like Deontay Wilder. I want to see him fight. He didn't say no hate. It seemed like Mike Tyson just gravitated towards Anthony Joshua. And Deontay Wilder like, damn, you ain't going to love your own American right here? And so they've been beefing ever since. Evander Holyfield took Deontay Wilder. He liked Deontay Wilder. I mean, it is what it is. Some, feelings. Wilder only said it because Tyson was hating him. Yeah, basically, that's what I said. I'm a huge Floyd fan, but he ruined boxing. And, accidentally, these guys chasing money. Floyd put in work. I love your channel. PBC ran earlier. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, Floyd did do that to boxing, man. But it wasn't intentionally, like he said. It wasn't intentionally that I'm in on this. You got any questions? Floyd did hurt boxing. It wasn't the fact that he was a safety first guy. It was the fact that his career was safety first. But people don't understand why Floyd's career turned into a safety first career. Why he only fought once in the Blue Man. Or why he only ended up fighting 2 times a year. It's the reason because his hands, physically, he couldn't do it no more. Like Gary Russell, he can't fight too often. He said, I should have been done a long time ago. My hands are so bad. His hands. His dad even had hand issues. That's just genetic. And guys look at him and say, oh, Floyd only fight once a year making this. Dude, you ain't did what Floyd did. You done had the tough fights that Floyd done had. You ain't did what Floyd did. You ain't put in the work from Atlantic City all the way to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Then he fought everywhere in the beginning. He did what he had to do. He dealt with Bob Arum. He dealt with James Prince, beating his fucking team up and shit of that nature and bitch slapping them around. He dealt with a lot. He put his work in. But guys like Keith, Danny, and the rest of them, Earl Tears, and I'm not saying in particular, a lot of guys want to get to that level of fighting once and twice a year. You look at Anthony Joshua. He just, boom, beat Klitschko. I'm only fight. Eddie said, I'm only going to have him fight twice a year. What do you mean? And if you fight twice a year, it got to be 2 of the toughest fights. You got to be the number 1 contender, the number 2 contender, or the number 2 in one in your division, number 2 in your division. Every time out. There's no Takan fights or there's no, Rios fight. No, if you're going to fight 2 times a year, it need to be 2 tough fights. 3 times a year is ideal. To me, it's ideal for these guys now. 3 times a year. But a lot of these guys, these promoters don't want to work with other promoters, so the fight dates are scarce. But yeah, Floyd did hurt boxing. I don't know how bad he hurt boxing. But he really did, man. He did tear up boxing. But people don't know why. He was injured. He couldn't fight on a regular basis. Remember he fought with Gotti with pillows on his hands, them Asian gloves they made? He had bad hands. He was just trying to stretch his career out as much as he can. That's what Floyd was, just stretching his career out. And he fought once and twice. If Floyd could fight 3 or 4 times a year, he still would have. It wasn't about him protecting his fighting once or twice a year as much as it was about his hands and his injuries and his shoulder injuries. Lamont Peterson breaking his ribs before the Marquez fight. It was just about, then it became about the biggest money fight and securing his legacy and securing, financially securing his legacy and financially securing his kids. So that's what it came about Floyd. And, he didn't intentionally, I'm not going to say he didn't intentionally, but he didn't want to fight once every blue moon. Roger told him you got to be more active, but he was just injured. Ain't nothing wrong with Danny, Keith, and the rest of these guys. These guys see that blueprint, and promoters and managers see that blueprint. Now guys want to start following that blueprint. They don't have to follow that blueprint, in my opinion. It's like what Sweet Pea said. These guys, want people to come see them and pay pay-per-view, but don't want to fight often. Exactly. It's like it'd be like me doing this. It'd be like me dropping 1 video a week. How can my channel grow with dropping 1 video a week? It can't. That's what we trying to explain to other people. Say, man, how did you grow your channel so fast? I mean, for one, I'm gonna just get into some OT talk. For one, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. If y'all know that I'm gonna drop at least 5 videos a day, you're gonna get 5 videos a day. If y'all know I'm gonna drop 1 video a day, you're gonna drop 1 video a day. You know what time I'm gonna drop a video. For some breaking news, I'm gonna drop a video. I'm gonna try my best to eventually address that. That's one way. My way was, a lot of people's like, they be hating and say, well, you money hungry, that's why you drop all these videos. For one, I mean, YouTube's monetization algorithm sucks. It sucks. So each time I drop a video, I don't get paid for every video I do right off the bat. I mean, they demonetize videos, and I could be like, bear hugs, cuddly sheep, and my video won't get all advertisers monetized. it'll show an advertisement every once in a, that advertiser that do that every once in a while. Just because it turns yellow, it doesn't mean it demonetizes the total ad revenue. It just, a lot of the ads won't mess with you. They won't show ads. But at the end of the day, if you want to create a channel, create it. It's not hard. I mean, it's just, I try to get back to every comment or acknowledge every comment, but it's basically about being consistent. You don't have to have the most equipment. I mean, I don't have the best of the equipment, but it ain't about that. It's about you being consistent, constructive criticism. You got to be able to work. You got to be ready to edit your videos. You got to be able to continue to improve. You got to, say some stuff. And some channels you got out there that's gimmick channels. They just clickbait. Like Casual Boxing Fan last night put up a video that said Victor Ortiz decision overturned or something like that. He's the clickbait king. But that's not my channel based on. I don't want to give y'all no clickbait or nothing like that. But some channels, just fanboy channels. You can make a living just being the fanboy channels of a certain fighter or a certain group of fighters. You can be an informative channel. I mean, like somebody say, oh, T Street's the best channel out there. I came up watching T Street. He's a good channel. He's solid. But at the end of the day, he don't talk about boxing X's and O's. He's one of those guys that talk about boxing. He just talks about it. He knows the ins and outs. He knows the business. He knows stuff of that nature. And it's cool. That's cool. You don't have to be the most technical guy to have a YouTube channel or talk boxing. But he's more of a, guy that just talks about boxing, not the ins and outs. A lot of guys don't do breakdown prediction videos. I consistently do them. I enjoy watching film, breaking down film of fighters, and giving y'all prediction videos as many as I can find. But, that's me. But the channel's not hard to run. I mean, you have to hustle. And that's why I tell Money Brown TV all the time. I try to tell these guys, a lot of these guys out here, they link up, they be like 8 channels, and they write, what's going on. They write articles for a website, and none of these channels are moving nowhere. Y'all working together, but y'all not working smart. You have to hustle your videos. All right, you putting a link out there with your video in it on YouTube, and you sharing it to different boxing groups. That's not gonna cut it. What I did is I started a like page first, even before I even thought about YouTube, and I built my following up on Facebook. Breaking boxing news, asking questions, fantasy matchup memes. A lot of people was feeling that, so I went to the YouTube thing, and a lot of people came over from Facebook to YouTube, and then I might drop a few things every week about the YouTube channel, and then people continue to hustle. Otherwise, on YouTube, you can pay for subscribers. I don't know how. On Facebook, you can pay for ads and have people go to your stuff, and Facebook is probably the best time right now because Facebook is actually giving people $30 vouchers to run ads on their pages. Free ad. You just put a credit card or a debit card, link it to that, and they give you $30, and they don't charge a card. And they just run the ads, till you get to a certain amount, and you just say, subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And it's probably a good time to start a channel. But I started a like page, build my fan base on Facebook. I mean, my personal YouTube, my personal Facebook, I don't really get into that. I know a lot of different guys, have people follow their personal Facebook. I don't do that, but I got a like page, and you inbox me there. It's mostly all my videos. The link to my Facebook is in my video descriptions, and it's not easy. I don't think you getting behind this camera that is easy. It's not easy, but it pays. It don't pay what it once did, but obviously I'm gonna venture off. I already created a website for another boxing channel. I actually left there because creative differences. But like I said, it pays though. I'm gonna go to the website, the radio show, giving out T-shirts. I'm gonna look out for y'all. The Patreon channel, I'm working on that right now. Working on the rewards, and I'm gonna keep working. What did you think of the Rios corner man sucker punching? Yeah, man. He talking about his uncle. Yeah, his uncle Willie. I don't know what Willie. Shout out to Willie Darrell. That's the homie right there. That's his brother. But yeah, he sucker punched him, and you know what? That was just frustration. Because it kept happening to Dre. I was there when Arthur Abraham sucker punched him in the D, and they was just frustrated. But it wasn't a sucker punch though. He ended up getting what's going on, Matt? Darrell's uncle ended up getting, he got pushed off. He beat the case. They settled the case. And it'll be interesting to see if they let him be in the corner. I doubt it for the Ukazi rematch. But like I said, man, if y'all got any questions, any help, y'all want to run a channel, or I got some good channels, you can go follow them. The Colossal Boxing Talk, Truth and Facts About Boxing, Money Brown TV, Trap House Boxing. You know, Black Fight Fan, obviously 7A Sports, Ticket TV. I just found him out. Boxing with AD, that's the name of that one. Boxing Beats and Rhymes is good. 2 good UK channels. Hatman Strike Back's a good YouTube channel. I've been following for years. Those are, you know, 10 of the main channels that I do follow. For Non-Boxing International channel, good channel. True School Sports, good channel. So it's good channels out there, man. But, you know, if you want to start with I mean, go for it. It's patience. It's patience. Trust me. It's patience. It's work ethic. It's grind when you start a channel. You got to be able to be a hustler. Because your channel, unless you're willing to pay for views and pay for subscribers, which ain't guaranteed, but if you're willing to pay for that, it's grind. You slam the PBC video when you can. You slam the videos when you can. Read the book. I sent you in the comment. Oh, for sure, I'm gonna get to that right now. But you know, we covered everything this weekend. Don't forget the Super Flyweights on HBO. Super Flyweight 2. You know, not Karadas, but Estrada versus Sorg is going to be epic this weekend. But don't forget, it's the Boxing Clinic and more. We out. I'm going to drop that Porter and Danny Garcia preliminary thoughts video. They fight next. I'm telling you that right now. I told you that 2 months ago. We gone.